here we go with, this is a bromeliad. This is, I believe it's Casablanca, because it's got all the white dots on it. They've named it Casablanca. Okay, bromeliads are some of my new favorites. Excuse me. Absolutely love them because they're so easy. If Charlie would just look over here, all of these are bromeliads. And the ones in the back will have flowers that grow up, about 2 feet tall. Absolutely gorgeous, the ones with the purple leaves. There's two kinds of bromeliads, the ones that will have the flowers that come up, and then there's the bromeliads, the ones in the front with the greener leaves, but the purple tips. Those are called ladyfingers. You can guess why, because they look like a lady's painted nails. But anyway, those will keep their flowers inside the container. So, but on the other hand, they're just so pretty and they're so easy. I didn't have to cover these up. I just keep getting more and more, and they just keep propagating themselves. I mean, this is too full. I will say that once the bromeliad has flowered, it will not flower again. But don't despair. What it does is it keeps on giving new life to all of these other ones. And eventually it will die out, and then when it turns brown, you just pull it out, but you have so many others in here. Okay, so now what I have to do, now this is gonna go for the same as like the snake plant or daylilies, something like that. I'm literally going to see where it's loose, where I can separate it, and I'm going to pull it apart. Sometimes I have to use scissors, but I'm thinking, okay, see, here we go. This is a whole new plant that I can pot up. Okay, let's see if we can get some more. Okay, all right, so I can get 3 plants out of this. Now you can see this is the remnants of one of the flowers that came out. They're very pretty also. But again, they're just so easy. So it's something you want to do. Then you can get cuttings from other people. You can ask them to share. Okay, so we're going to and just put it in the soil at the same distance it was before, the same height, excuse me. Okay, all right, and here's another one. I have filled this up, and again, in another month, it'll just be full and it'll look great. Okay, now we're gonna work with, this will work for any hibiscus. This happens to be a tiger red Chinese hibiscus, and it's a little tall. So I'm going to find my scissors. And actually, yeah, we're going to cut down one of these. Okay, I'm seeing a node right there. I'm gonna cut right below a node. Now, you might want to do your hibiscus in warmer weather because they are a little delicate, but we're just going to go ahead and show you how to do it. It's just going to be really the same as roses. So we're going to take this, we're going to find another node and cut that off. Cut that off, and don't let me cut the wire. Okay. So, and these are very beautiful flowers anyway, but I know it's going to do fine because I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them in among all the other plants here so they'll be very well protected. Okay, same thing, just like roses. I've got them ready. I take off all the excess leaves. Okay, I am going to get a pot, and again, you can use any pot. I have the moist soil here. I am going to Take this and dip it in my rooting hormone again that I've put aside because I don't want to contaminate the whole jar. And I could put 2, 3, or 4 in here. But for right now, I'm only going to do 2. Now this one will probably be a couple of months before you see some new growth. You might see it before. And again, this is going to go, you're going to make sure that the soil stays moist but not wet. And you're going to put it in morning sun, afternoon shade. But you know, hibiscus like it in the sun, so if it were to be warm, you know, you could bring it out for a little bit. Okay, so there we've got our hibiscus. Now, I did not take the very tip. That is a little thin. I took the thicker stem down here, and I did not take the hardwood. See, this is harder down here. It's more like wood, so you want to take the happy in between. You don't want to take the hard, and you don't want to take the tip, because that's too soft and too thin. Okay, so now we have our hibiscus. We are just rolling here. So I wanted to show you quickly how to do a succulent, because succulents are just a little bit different. Everybody has these. They're kalanchoes or kalanchos, however you want to say it, but their nicknames are flapjacks, land clams, all sorts of things, and they grow outside, and they're just beautiful when they stay this size, but sometimes they can grow up and look terrible. And here's a sample. It's not nearly as pretty like this when it starts to get a stem on it. So that one I could cut off, just like I did with this one. I cut it off. Whoops. Okay. All right. Now the difference with succulents is I cut it off, but they're a little moist here. So you want to let your succulents harden off. That's what that term means. You want it not to be moist. You want it to have a hard coating. And what I did is it had leaves all around the bottom. I'm going to try and propagate the leaves also. So I took the leaves off. So now I have 4 leaves, and I have this. Now this is the succulents and the cactus, you do not use moist soil. You're going to just take soil, and actually if you had cactus soil that would be better, but again, it's so expensive. I can't do it. So I'm just going to take dry soil that has a lot of perlite in it, so it'll drain very well. And I'm going to stick it in here. And that will root very quickly, maybe a month. But you see how much prettier it looks now that it's right down there. And what you can do with these is, let me get another pot here. Okay, here's another pot. Again, I'm not going to use moist soil. I'm going to use dry. And you can just lay this flat on the soil. I like to put it in a little bit, although you don't have to. But see, that way I feel I have more control and it's going to stay there. And I only had to use 1 pot. Now this will probably take a little bit longer, but what you'll get is you'll get new growth at the base of each leaf. And then as soon as that gets big enough, it'll look just like the parent. Then you take it out and you cut off the big leaf and you pot it up. So that is really easy. Succulents are very easy. So, and we've run out of time?
No, we're good.
Are we good? Okay, well then let me see. I guess we have time for something else. Okay, here's another succulent. This is a pencil cactus. I'm sure everybody has a pencil cactus. I don't like the way this is growing, so I am going to You see how I want it? I want it to be tall. I can show you a picture of tall ones. But this will always be lopsided, so I need to take this one off. Okay, and now you can see how moist that is. And a lot of people need to be careful, because if you have an open cut or something, it might irritate it, all that sap falling off. But you see what I mean, that you're going to have to wait till you harden it off. But I can go later, after it hardens off, and start a whole other plant with this. But what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to straighten it out. You see how dry it is, but it loves it. It loves it. Because the one thing that will kill your succulents is they can either take the cold or the wet, but they can't take the cold in the wet. So that's why you need to make sure, really don't water your succulents in the wintertime, and that's what they'll tell you everywhere. Okay, so now I'm going to straighten this up. I'm going to put some more soil in here. Okay. Okay. Now, you see, this is going to look better eventually when it really takes hold, because it's got one main stem now. And that's how you can do it. But now I also have another plant. So let me get some more soil. Okay, you see how this is going to be much better, and eventually I might take off these lower branches, but I'm just going to leave them for right now. And in fact, I might take off this lower one also, again, so we have just a straighter stalk, just the one stalk. So, okay.